What's up, bro? So, the cocoon strategy. The premise behind this is that in order to grow, in order to become something that you haven't been before, you need to separate yourself. And obviously, this comes from the idea of the caterpillar going into the cocoon so that it can become the butterfly. You see, what happens is when you try to accomplish something that you've never done before, you're going to get constant reminders on the outside world that you are what you were. I made a video recently talking about how you are not your past. That you should forget the past and that it's all in your head. I think the past is useful for one thing: learning from your lessons. Do not dwell on the past. Do not contemplate the future. Be present in everything that you do. Wherever you are, be there. And so, when it comes to the desired future that we actually want to see happen, you're going to get a lot of reminders from other people that you are still the person that they once perceived you to be. And this is through no fault of their own. Like, I don't blame other people for seeing me for who I was. That's the nature of life. We see things and we think of them as they once were. To give a present up to date reality check on every single thing is so tiring, bro. Has this person changed yet? Oh, guess not. They're just like everybody else. They don't change. That's what it would be like. And so our brain just assumes that people will always be the same. And so this is why it's important to go into the cocoon. Disappear. Disappear for 6 to 12 months and really just go all in on the one thing that you were trying to accomplish. Whenever I've set out and actually achieved a goal, I reminded myself of the goal that I wanted to achieve on a daily basis. I would write down the goal and then flip the page. The next day I would write down the goal again and flip the page. I was so intentional and so serious. The one goal that I actually did this with was when I was going to France. I remember I started setting the intention maybe around December or January. December of 2022 or January of 2023. And I just wrote it down. I want to go to France. I've always wanted to. Actually, I know when I said it. I was going to Kenya, and when I was going to Kenya, we stopped over in France. That's when I realized I want to go to France. And I started setting it as a goal. I had never traveled before by myself. And I had always traveled with my parents, but I knew I wanted to do this one thing. So every morning when I woke up, I would write it in my journal: go to France, go to France, go to France. And there was no one who was there to remind me of who I was. The person that I was that would wake up in the morning and the first thing I would think of is, how can I get high today? The person that would wake up and take Xanax before going out to a social event, that's who I was. But there was no one to remind me of who I was. I was in the cocoon. I was surrounding myself with new people. I was working at a job where people made so much money that the average person would be like, that's a scam. That's the kind of job I was working. And so I had the means. I was surrounded by the right people. I essentially went into a cocoon of like-minded people. So the thing is, it's really hard to find like-minded people sometimes. Unless you go online, it's increasingly difficult to find people that are on the same mission as you, that want the same things from life as you. And so the only way to really achieve that goal that you have for yourself is to separate from everybody. Sometimes no friends is a good thing. I was gonna say having a few friends, but sometimes having no friends is the best thing that could happen to you. Maybe you're in a lonely season. Maybe a lot of people haven't been hitting you up recently. Maybe you're feeling that the solitude is starting to get to you. This is where you dig in your heels. You start to actually appreciate the fact that you are alone right now. You start to look at it as not some kind of curse, but as a blessing. When you can do that, instead of complaining about the misfortune that's happened to you, and actually see that you created all of it, take some responsibility, you'd be so surprised that when we take matters into our own hands, we can actually create something beautiful. And there is a delicate dance of surrendering our self-will and setting our own intention of what we actually want to create in this life. But the cocoon is so vital because once we've set that intention, we don't tell anybody. We just keep it to ourselves. We write it down. We remind ourselves. And then it becomes a reality. And when you get there and you're at the place, you just enjoy it. You realize, wow, my daily actions really brought me here. It was me manifesting this. It was me speaking this into existence that made this happen. I'm here in Nairobi, and I, for once, in the past 2 years, this time I didn't actually use my own money to get here. I'll be completely honest with you. I didn't have much money to use to go to Nairobi, bro. But I remember in June, July, I was talking about going to Kenya with one of my friends. I said, dude, I'm gonna be there. I don't have the money right now, but I'm gonna figure out a way and I'm gonna be in Kenya in December. You better be there and be square. And he said, all right, dude, are you serious about this? And I said, yes, I am. And it just so happened, randomly, 3 months later, my dad calls me and he's like, hey, I booked tickets to go to Kenya. It's crazy how this works, bro, but you speak that thing that you want into existence, go into hiding, go into the cocoon for a few months, and just work on that every single day. Make sure it's what you actually want, though. Make sure it's not some desire that somebody else put into your head, like making a certain amount of money per month. Yes, those things are good, but make sure it's yours. And while you're on the journey, you will feel the positive momentum pulling you towards where you want to go because you're doing the thing that you're actually meant to do. So don't wish it was easier. Wish you were better. Peace.